The rain had just stopped when Eleanor Hayes stepped out of her sleek black sedan and strode across the marble steps of her company's headquarters. She was the kind of woman people noticed instantly: the crisp lines of her navy suit, the silver glint of her watch, and the air of unshakable determination that wrapped around her like armor. To the world, she was Eleanor Hayes, CEO of Hayes Coal International, a billion-dollar empire that commanded respect in every boardroom she entered. To those who worked under her, she was often whispered about as cold, calculating, untouchable. But the truth she never let anyone see was that her armor had cracks. Cracks that came from sleepless nights, a marriage that had collapsed under the weight of ambition, and a loneliness that gnawed at her in the quiet hours when the skyscraper glass reflected only her own face back at her. It was on one of those grey mornings, heavy with storm clouds and heavier still with meetings stacked back to back, that her life tilted on an axis she didn't know existed. She had no reason to notice the janitor who quietly mopped the hallway near her private elevator. No reason to glance at the little girl perched on a wooden bench with scuffed shoes and hair tied into uneven braids. But fate doesn't always ask permission before stepping into our lives. As Eleanor pushed the elevator button, she heard a soft voice behind her. "Excuse me, Miss Broken Bar?" She didn't turn at first. She was already sifting through emails on her phone, her mind whirring with numbers and deadlines. But then a tiny hand tugged gently at her sleeve. She looked down and met the wide brown eyes of a little girl, no older than 6. The girl's voice was trembling, but her words carried something that pierced through the steel walls Eleanor had built around herself. "Mommy needs a smile," the child said. "Can you Broken Bar give her one?" The words hung in the air like fragile glass. Eleanor blinked, her throat tightening unexpectedly. "Excuse me?" she asked, her tone sharper than intended. The little girl didn't flinch. She just pointed toward the janitor, a woman with tired eyes, worn shoes, and a face that looked older than her years. The mop handle shook slightly in her hand, and her posture bent beneath more than physical weight. "She's my mommy," the girl whispered, clutching Eleanor's hand. "Now, she cries sometimes, but I think if someone important smiled at her a Broken Bar, maybe she won't be sad today." Eleanor froze. She was Eleanor Hayes, CEO, who negotiated million-dollar deals before breakfast, who outmaneuvered competitors twice her size. Yet here she was, rooted to the marble floor, undone by a child's simple plea. She looked again at the janitor, at the slump of her shoulders, the quiet dignity in her movements, the exhaustion etched into her skin. Something inside Eleanor shifted, a quiet echo of memories she thought she'd buried. Her own mother, working double shifts as a nurse when Eleanor was little, always returning home bone-tired but still tucking her daughter into bed with a kiss. Eleanor inhaled slowly, then did something she hadn't done in years. She crouched down so she was eye level with the girl. "What's your name?" she asked softly. "Leela," the girl said, her small fingers tightening around Eleanor's hand as though she'd found an anchor. "Well, Leela," Eleanor murmured, her voice gentler now, "I think your mommy already has something better than a smile." "She has you." Leela's lips curved into a shy grin. "But she needs more. Grown-ups forget how to smile." "Can you help me remind her?" For reasons she couldn't explain, Eleanor stood. Her heels clicked as she crossed the polished floor and stopped in front of the janitor. The woman startled, looking up from her mop, fear flickering in her eyes. She probably thought she'd done something wrong. But Eleanor simply met her gaze, let her mouth soften, and smiled, a real one, not the polished, performative smile she reserved for investors or cameras. This one came from somewhere deeper. The janitor's eyes widened, and then they shimmered. She pressed a trembling hand to her lips as though trying to contain something fragile that threatened to spill. "Thank you," she whispered. It was such a small thing, a smile. But for Eleanor, it was like stepping into unfamiliar territory, a place where boardroom strategies and profit margins held no power. For Leela, it was a victory, a confirmation that even the most powerful woman in the building could bend for kindness. And for the janitor, it was something far greater, proof that she was seen. That one touch, That one smile lit the first spark of change, a spark that would ripple outward in ways none of them could yet imagine. Because sometimes, the smallest hands hold the greatest power to remind us of our humanity.